everybody. I came to you yesterday and we had a great chat. I had a great chat. I had great fun talking to you. And so I thought maybe I'll try to do this every day for the next little while, especially while we are kind of tied to our houses a little bit more than normal. I wanted to talk to you about that. Yesterday, in this heart-to-heart, I talked to you about meditation and how meditation saved my life. And if you didn't see that, you can still watch that on the stream of my Facebook post. And I will explain that in that video, why I believe that meditation saved my life. And I truly believe that. Hi, Linda. I wanted to talk to you today about the writing that I posted this morning. And it's interesting that I wrote this about 4 months ago and posted it then. And I knew at the time that I would probably at some point repost things, sometimes after a couple of years, and I know people have either forgotten it or I have new followers that never saw it in the first place. I will repost things. And I usually say that it's a repost, that I wrote it some time ago. And so I knew I would be reposting this one at some point. I didn't think it would be in 4 months. I think I posted it sometime in November. But it's called Personal Troubleshooting Guide. And I think now more than ever is something that we need to think about. And again, if you haven't read it, I always put the link with this heart-to-heart chat so that you can go back and read it, and there's audio with it if you prefer that. But what it is, I talk about taking out a notebook, or some of you would rather do computers. Go to your computer and make a spreadsheet and build your own troubleshooting guide for when times of stress hit. And I talk about writing a list of things that make you feel good, people that make you feel happy and loved, things that you can do for others. So it's segmented into a lot of different things, and what I really encourage in the writing is for you to make it your own. Somehow come up with a guide that when it's times of stress, you can pull it out and refer to it and find something to do. Much the way if you're trying to lose weight and you have a list of healthy snacks, so when you want to reach for that Hershey Kisses bag, which is my favorite, you have a list of other things that you can do instead. So during times of stress, instead of doing things that aren't healthy for us or letting ourselves get so worked up inside about what's going on in the world, that we get nervous and agitated and we take it out on people we love or do unhealthy things for ourselves, we can pull out our personal troubleshooting guide and find things that we've written down. Yesterday I talked a little bit about things that I do and how if in fact you are working from home now or have isolated yourself because we're being told to kind of stay in and stay away from people, and you're alone a lot, or just the fact that you're isolated in your home is a difficult thing for you to do. And I shared that it's not totally easy for me because I'm a people person and I like to get out and see my friends and see people and talk to people face to face. I really think that human connection is important. So if you're like that, like me, if you make this personal troubleshooting guide and you have lists of the people that you know you love and they love you, and you can call them on the phone and chat or FaceTime like this so you can see their faces like we do on this Facebook Live, or people that you can write notes to. Especially if you have someone in a retirement community or a nursing home that you know that they have been isolated because of health reasons, are very important for them. Many of you know that my mom passed just this last August, and she was in a retirement community. And the retirement community she was in is in lockdown, meaning nobody can come in and visit. So if you know someone in that situation, give them a call or send them a note in the mail or something so that they have some kind of interaction. And by doing things like that, it makes us feel better. If we can take the spotlight off of us and how we're sad because we can't leave our house, or we're sad because we're working at home and we're missing our coworkers, or whatever it is about the situation that is hard for you. If you can place a spotlight on doing something for someone else, that helps, and it makes you feel better. It brings them joy and connection, and it will bring you joy and connection. So in the writing about the personal troubleshooting guide, if you're just joining me now, I wrote in there about how to do it on a computer, on a piece of paper, and make lists of things that bring you joy, and things that you can do, and people that you know love you that you can reach out to, and things that make you feel good to do. And I'm going to share something with you. I have a really cool tablet, and it has all different headers on it, and I'm going to show this to you. I have a whole writing about to-do lists, and how to-do lists make us feel like it's something that we have to do, like it's a chore, like it's a sometimes even a punishment. But if you can change the header on your to-do list to something I've always wanted to do, things I get to do, and if you can change your mindset in that way, especially with this personal troubleshooting guide, and make it joyful, make it things that make you happy. So I have this tablet, and I have a feeling this is going to be backwards, but it says, I've always wanted to. And instead of saying to do or I have to do, I've always wanted to. So think about this. If you are, because of what's going on in the world, working at home from now, and you're not used to that, and you're used to being around people, or if your business or something is just not working now, so maybe you have a imposed vacation, home stay that you didn't know you were going to do. Think about all the things that cross our mind that we want to do and we never have time. We never have time to do. So I wrote a bunch of them down on my paper this morning, and I'm going to share with you. So some of you know me more than others. If you followed me for a while and you read my writings and my posts, you know a lot about me. But I am a painter. And so I have an area in my garage that I've made into my little paint studio. And I can go out there and paint, and 6 hours can disappear in a blink. And it's because I love it so much. But I often hear myself say, I don't have a lot of time to paint, or I think I don't have 6 hours today to go disappear into my paint loft, so I don't even get started. But now, if we are in our homes for who knows how long, we've got time to do things like that. So I have all these little paint projects in my head that I plan to do. So I put that on my list. Paint. Sewing. Oh, thank you. I just wish I could kiss you all and give you those hearts back. Thank you so much for that. I also love to sew. I will tell you, I have more hobbies than I will ever have time to do in my whole life. But it's just so much fun to me to do all these things and to create. I guess I'm a creator, so that's why I love to paint. I also love to sew. And again, my mom passed in August, and my mom wore all these cute little lady sweatshirts that had embroidered things on them. And so I brought all of her sweatshirts home in the hopes of cutting the cute parts out and making a quilt. So that's on my list. That now I'm here. Not that I'm not always here, but most of the time I'm not here with this much time. And so I can finish and do that quilt that I want to make that will be so special when it's done with my mom's. I just realized I didn't put the microphone on. I hope you were hearing me. I was excited, so maybe I was talking loud enough. Another thing is cleaning out closets. We always say that. I know, we all say that. If we had more time, we'd clean out closets. And I will confess, I have a little issue with clothes and shoes. I need an intervention, I think, sometimes. So I'm continually saying I need to clean out my closet. I need to clean out my closet. And just recently I did it. I took everything out of my closet, and I'm probably going to write a blog about this soon. But it's a continual thing, and I have more than one closet in my home. And so cleaning out closets. I also, because my mom recently passed, have a lot of photographs to go through. And so what better time to sit and go through photographs? And the other thing that I like to do that I'm kind of behind on for several different things is make Shutterfly books. You know, Shutterfly.com, where you can upload your photographs and create these amazing books. And so I've got some of those in my mind that I want to do. So that is on my list. Reading, yoga. Oh, I'll tell you, this morning we had a 2-hour electrical outage this morning in my area. I don't know how far it went across my state, but I think it was pretty far reached. And it was because for 2 days we have been in this lockdown, very, very heavy, frosty fog-y stuff. And I think what happened was it finally started to melt, and the weight of that water and all of that melting took out power lines. So for 2 hours we were out of power. And it was just when I had yoga on my list, and oftentimes I will do YouTube. I will find yoga on YouTube and do that in my home. So I was just getting ready to do that, and the power went out. So I waited a while, and then I started to think, if this power is going to be out a long time, and that means the hot water heater is going out, and so I'm going to take my shower now. I guess I'll do yoga tomorrow. And that was okay. So my yoga got interrupted this morning before it ever got started, but it's on my list, and as a thing that I can do now with all this time that we have at home. I put things like self-pampering, like face masks, doing all these self-pampering things, maybe a bubble bath, take a book with you, things like that. Put that on your list, things that make you feel good to get through times of stress. I said call friends and FaceTime, meditate that we talked about yesterday, write notes to friends. Again, especially if you know elderly people that are really isolated and can't have visitors, that would be a great thing to do. Of course, write. Again, I'm a creator, so I will be writing blogs, and I'm working on my next book, which is about grief. And so I need to spend time on that. And so I've got a lot of time to do that. I also wrote down things about food. I love to make bread. I love to bake cookies. When my kids were little, every Friday I made chocolate chip cookies. And the neighbors and their friends' kids would come over, and it's funny, my kids are grown, very grown now, and I have grandkids. But my kids' friends still remember those chocolate chip cookies when they were little. So things like that again bring back memories and make you feel warm and fuzzy on the inside and feel happy and feel like home. That's the kind of stuff you put in your personal troubleshooting guide so that you have those. I did put down things that I like to do. Again, if you follow me very much, you know that I love coffee. In fact, before I sat down, I made coffee before I started this, because I really feel like when I do these heart-to-hearts that you're right here. I can see your faces. I can feel your energy. And so I just feel like I'm having coffee with a friend. And so I made coffee before we sat down. And I put little snacks down there like grapes. I'm popping grapes in my mouth all the time because I love grapes and almonds and things like that. So these are the kind of things when you sit down to create your personal troubleshooting guide that make as many headers or lists or categories or however you want to do it. Make as many as you need, and then put as many items under each category as you can think of. It would be a fun thing. If you have kids that now your school is on hiatus because of this, and you're not quite sure how that's going to shake out, let your kids be a part of it. Give them a little notebook and let them make the same lists. Let them write down what makes them feel good. Who are the people that they like to talk to or that they might miss seeing? What kind of foods do they like? Do they want to make cookies with you? I mean, let them write things down like that. And then when they start to get fidgety and antsy, you can say, where's your book? Go get your book. And name it whatever you want. It doesn't have to be a troubleshooting guide for you or for your kids. Name it whatever you want. It could be Pennie's survival guide. Name it something cute. Name it something that's yours, so that and let your kids do the same, so that it's the same for them. My point is, I think this might go on for a while. You know, depending on what you read and what you believe, we can hear both ends of the spectrum, that it's really awful, that it's really not as bad as what the media is telling us. We can read that it's not going to last very long, this will rectify itself quickly, and we can read, 8+ weeks that we might be in a different kind of life situation than we're used to. We don't know, and I think that is what causes me and most people the most stress, is the uncertainty. We kind of like to know what's going on. We like the rhythm of life. We like to have schedules and security of knowing what comes next. And right now we're in the situation where we don't know how long it's going to last. We don't know what's coming next. We don't know if it's really bad on this side of the scale or if it's kind of not really as bad as they're making it sound. We don't know. And so getting some of these things in place so that you are prepared for the rough days, prepared for the days after you go stir crazy a little bit, something to fall back on and pull out and say, okay, I wrote this down. These are things I can do. And especially really work on this piece of it, this list of what I've always wanted to do. I have a lot more on this list. In fact, I will tell you what I'm getting ready to do right when I am done here chatting with you. Again, when someone really close to you passes away and you bring home a lot of stuff, I have a lot of stuff to go through. And that's what I'm going to do, is go through some of my mom's things after I say goodbye here. I have a little basket here in the corner of my office that I brought home, and it has pictures, and I honestly haven't looked at it since August, and I'm not sure what's in it, but that's what I'm going to do when I'm done. And not in a sad way. It will bring happy memories and smiles and warm my heart to think of my mom. So that's what I'm going to do when I'm done. And then tomorrow's a new day, and I will be looking at this list and coming up with something else to do tomorrow. And I hope that you all take something from this and that you get ideas, and maybe you can do this and do it. My husband is retired, so he's home all the time. Do it together, not just with your kids, but if you're in a retired situation and you're home a lot anyway, but yet there's something different about being home a lot anyways and being told not to leave. There's a big difference. If you're home a lot anyway, but you can go and do whatever you want whenever you want, or if you're home a lot and now you're being told don't go out, don't go do things, it's a big difference. It's just that knowing that you can or you can't. And I think that weighs heavy on our hearts and causes stress. So if you and your spouse are in a situation like that together, do this together. Make your own troubleshooting guide together of things, and you might have another column of things that you like to do together. Maybe you're board game players or card players or whatever it is you like to do together. Write that down so that when you come to these points of, I can't watch any more news about this, I really am full of the stress and the fear, and really the bottom line is the fear. I really believe in my heart. I think the virus is a really bad thing, and I think it's going to affect a lot of people, and unfortunately a lot of people will not be with us anymore because of it. But I think this fear, this cloud of fear that is covering us, is going to, in the long run, be way more damaging. So that's what the bottom line is. We're trying to get through the fear, and that's what comes out in forms of stress and anger and agitation and feeling uncertain and lost because it's fear. So I am going to try my best to come here every day about this time. I don't know. Yesterday there was quite a few people about this time. I'm in Mountain Time, so it's like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. I think I will try to hit that time frame most days and hopefully come up with new ideas for you every day so that we can walk through this together, because there's one thing that I think is becoming very clear, that we are all in this together and we're all going through the same thing at the same time, which is kind of an unusual dynamic for the world, I believe. So I hope this has helped. I hope that you read the writing. Again, the link is with this video, Personal Troubleshooting Guide. I hope you read it. I hope you listen to the audio and take something from it. And send me a message under this video of what you're going to do, some of the things on your troubleshooting guide are going to be. And the reason I share, because when I give my ideas, it helps you. Maybe you'll take some of my ideas. If you share your ideas with me, maybe I'll borrow some of your ideas and use those too. So that's a wonderful thing to do. Again, we're all in this together.